Have you ever played a JRPG? Well, yes, obviously you have if you've been on this channel. However, have you ever played a JRPG which absolutely took your breath away because it was visually stunning and beautiful? Well, I've been thinking about several games which gave me that experience. So with that poor segue in mind, today we're going to have a look at 9 JRPGs that absolutely stunned me. But before we get cracking on with the list, hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here. If you like JRPGs which stunned you, and a wee Scottish guy talk about, well, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now, we're going to do this in a one-shot, one-take format. Spoilers, mistakes that will be here. And obviously, this is not the be-all, end-all list. This is my personal list. So, the JRPGs that I've missed over here, let me know in the comments down below. So, we're going to kick things off with Persona 5 Royal, which was developed by Atlus and published by Atlus and Sega. It's available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So in this title, we are following the Phantom Thieves who are stealing the hearts of corrupted adults, the enemies of the Phantom Thieves. Now, this game sports turn-based combat where you'll be using the power of personas to defeat the enemy. Now, obviously I had to kick things off with a juggernaut of a title because this game, yes, it absolutely stunned me. With its cel-shaded graphics, it will always stand the test of time. But one thing which is always visually appealing with this title is those menu screens. Man, this set the blueprint for every Atlus title going forward. If you look at the likes of Persona 3 Reload, which, to be honest with you, I nearly put in the place of this title. And then you've got Metaphor ReFantasio, which just upped its game with the menu screens. Now, yes, that's a title that I've not played yet, but come on, I've seen the trailers, I've seen all those menu screens and how gorgeous it looks. Persona 5 Royal is just full of style and panache. Now, I remember playing the original Persona 5 when it came out. Could not believe it. Persona 5 Royal just ups the ante with everything, with more social links, more story beats, and refined gameplay. It is just a fantastic title, and it still stuns me every time. I mean, come on, the cel-shaded graphics is probably, helps that because I love myself some cel-shaded graphics. But we're going to come away from cel-shaded graphics for this next title. It's a remake of a classic PS1 title and a PSP title. It's Star Ocean: The Second Story R, which was developed by Gemdrops Studios, published by Square Enix, and is available on PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and a PC. So like I said, this is a remake of the original Second Story R, and it follows dual protagonist stories. It's got Reina and Claude in their fight, which is to stop interplanetary catastrophe. Now, this game absolutely stunned me for its visuals. This really is the definition of sprite work against 3D backdrops. This just blew my mind. And I remember playing this, thank you Square Enix for giving me a code for this and review. I got to review this one. This is one of my earliest titles that I got to review. And I am no joking, when I got onto that world map is gorgeous. Now, I had played the likes of Second Evolution, the PSP remake of the Second Story PS1 title, and that back then was like fantastic to me. But this just ups the ante once again, and it's stunning, absolutely stunning. The new sprite work for the characters as well. When they're in conversations with each other, that's been given an overhaul compared to the previous titles. And what's amazing with this game as well, it gives you this option that you can actually change those character portraits to the previous titles, and I think that's ace. It's showing off the past of these titles. Also, the gameplay is fantastic, the story is fantastic as well, so it really is the absolute full package when it comes to Star Ocean. This is one I highly recommend anyone to play if you've not played it. Now, we're going to move on to a title which is absolutely stunning. And it's one I've not fully played, and I'll tell you why, but we're going to look at Visions of Mana. So this one was developed and published by Square Enix. It's available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and it's on PC as well. So this is one of the latest entries in the Mana series, and we're following our characters who've been chosen as the Alm on their journey to restore the balance of the elemental spirits. Now this is an action JRPG where you'll be able to change up job systems, so you'll be able to play around with different combat skills. You know, you could have the broadsword where you have to use a lot of slow-paced attacks, or you could have your mage powers, etc. Now with this title, it is graphically stunning. You look at it and it's such a vibrant and full world. The character design as well is really easy on the eye as well. Visions of Mana is one of these series, especially with the previous remake, Trails of Mana, I want to say, and off the top of my head, that was gorgeous in itself. So what I feel is Square Enix learned from that and upped their game with this release. Now, I mentioned before this that this is a title that I've not fully played. Now, let me just give you the brief story. Now, again, I'll put my hands up. This was a title provided to me by Square Enix. Once again, thankful. But I had issues with this game when playing it on the Steam Deck. The gameplay for this really suffered. So there was moments where I was doing boss battles and the frame rate was horrendous. The frame rate was dropping to about 10 FPS, which really made the game pretty much impossible to play. It wasn't holding a solid 30 FPS, and it is one that I regret not doing a first impressions video or a full review on, but the reason for it is I wanted to wait until patches have come out, etc. Now, I have been told, there was a previous comment from a friend of the channel, from Miller's Game Room. She had said that, you know, the game has been patched up and it should work fine now. So it is a game which I've got ready to go, and I will look at possibly writing or doing a review for this title once I fully complete it. But yeah, even like that brief time that I had with it, it was just so gorgeous. And you can see from the trailer, which is playing in the background just now, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. Now, from talking about 3D visuals, we're going to go on to a group which are known for their 2D style games. And this title is one I picked out. It's Odin Sphere. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last part of it because I can never do that. It's being developed by Vanillaware, who are absolute gods when it comes to visual works. This was published by Atlas. It's available on PS3, PS4, PS Vita as well. Now this is a remake slash remaster of the PS2 action JRPG. We're following 5 different characters in a kingdom which is at war. Now, this is amazing. This title, any Vanillaware title, is absolutely glorious. It's got this hand-painted style. There's no other developer which can match this graphic fidelity with their games. It just can't be done. I mean, there may be some games which can get close to it, and if there is any of those games, you know what to do. Let me know in the comments down below so I can check them out. But honestly, this game is just so insanely good. It's stunning, you know, on top of that, it's got a fantastic gameplay loop. The combat itself is fast-paced. Every character you play as has a different combat style, which keeps the game fresh. And it's amazing to see all the stories come together because all the stories are intermittently happening at the same time. Yeah, it's fantastic. This is a title, if you've not played it, get on it. And you know what? I think I say this with most Vanillaware games. It's really surprising that it's not had any ports to PCs or like to Nintendo, etc. You know, I think I remember a commenter saying that I think there's some sort of like clause that they put in their games that it doesn't go to PC. I don't know, I could be speaking rubbish, but you know what? A game which isn't rubbish and looks absolutely fantastic and had me stunned. Now, this is a game which has not been fully released yet, but I wanted to include it because there is a demo and it absolutely stunned me. So this is Alabaster Dawn, which is being developed by Radical Fish, and it's going to be released onto PC. I'm not aware of any further ports, but if we're going to look at Crosscode, which was a previous title of theirs, I can see this coming to the likes of Switch and PlayStation and possibly Xbox. So this is an action JRPG which uses pixel artwork, and this is absolutely stunning. It has got a fantastic pixel art style. It's got fast-paced, action-based combat where you're doing close-up combat and long-range combat with the likes of a bow and arrow, for example, a boomerang, which is in the demo as well. Now, when playing the demo as well, I was taken aback by it. The visuals is stunning. Now, I played this on the Steam Deck with the OLED model, and it just pops right out at you. Everything from the movement of the character that you play as, she has got some fantastic movements which has been developed by Radical Fish. The combat is just so stunning as well. The great thing with this as well is the game runs at a smooth 90 FPS when I've been playing it on my Steam Deck. And, without any drops in fidelity or FPS, whatever, it really stands out. It stunned me, and I cannot wait to play this title. Now, a game that most JRPG players have been playing this year, and will probably agree with me that it's stunning, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Yes, I've mentioned this game again. It has been appearing in a lot of my videos recently, but for good reason. Now, tail of the tape with this one, it was developed by Sandfall Interactive, published by Kepler Interactive. It was released on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and on PC. So with this is a turn-based RPG which uses the likes of parry mechanics, which will keep you on your toes for every battle. And in this, we're following a group known as the Expedition 33, travelling across the land to defeat the Paintress who erases people from existence when she writes a number on the monolith. So currently it's at 34, and once it hits at 33, no tell lying, it's at 33 already. What am I on about? So yes, this title is absolutely stunning in every way, shape and form. When it comes to the visuals, absolutely glorious. This is a game which was built on Unreal Engine 5. It has such an amazing art direction as well. It has this doom and gloom about it with, in this kind of, I want to say war-torn. If you've played the game, I'm trying to keep this spoiler-free, but you see this sort of deformed version of Paris, and when you get into the world map, this world is deformed. It's got the colours which pop out at you as well, or when it's dark, the actual designs of the characters, their movements, everything with this game is absolutely stunning. Even the conversations between the characters is just something special. This is a game which will stand the test of time. It is a game which will be used as a kind of on a totem pole where a lot of turn-based games will have to reach. It is that damn good. I'm so glad I finally played Clair Obscur. I was quite late into playing this one, but it's Game of the Year material by many. Now, a game which I feel is going to be a Game of the Year material when it eventually releases. Now, you might already picked up on that. I'm going to talk about a game which hasn't even been released, but it's a title. If you follow the channel, you'll know the one I'm talking about. It's Threads of Time, which is being developed by Rio Games, and it's going to be released on PC first of all. I can imagine that this one will get ported to the likes of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch and Xbox, but this title absolutely stunned me from the outset, and I've been so hyped for this. Every trailer which has released, including the most recent trailer, is just so glorious. It has got that pixel artwork against 3D backdrops, kind of that HD 2D style, but it's been built on Unreal Engine 5, this title. It's a heavily inspired Chrono Trigger JRPG, and I just can't wait for it. Everything about this, every time I see something about it, hear about it, I just can't wait. I know I've talked about this in previous games, and I know you might be thinking, why are you including a game that's not even released yet? But come on, when you see the visuals of this, it's so exciting. And, it did stun me. That's why I talk about it so much. That's why I'm hyped for it. Yeah. But talking about games which have not been released, let's talk about a game which was released a long time ago and probably one of the oldest releases on here. Now, this is more of my own personal opinion. This is something that I personally felt and I wanted to include this. So I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy VIII. I know. I can already hear people going, what? So with this, Final Fantasy VIII, published and developed by Square Enix, originally came out on the PlayStation 1. There's been further ports and remasters on the likes of PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox. You know those systems. Now in this, we follow a group known as Seed, who is led by Squall Leonhardt, and they are going up against the sorceress Edea, and from there, things unfold. It's got turn-based combat, which has seen this game have its fair share of controversies with its likes of its dynamic leveling system. So essentially with dynamic leveling is when your party levels up, the enemy levels up as well. And I'll tell you what, when I first played that game, when I was very young back in 1998, I wasn't aware of it. So anyway, Final Fantasy, why is this a game which absolutely stunned me? Now, I'm going to use Final Fantasy VII as a comparison. Now, Final Fantasy VII, when that game came out, and I played it back in 1997, absolutely blew me away. You've got to put yourself in the shoes of that time. Final Fantasy VII really set the ball high for, graphical fidelity, the backdrops, and cinematic gameplay. Now, for someone who may not be my age, I'm nearing my 40s, unfortunately. I'm in my mid-30s, so, I'm talking from nostalgia point. But when I played Final Fantasy VIII, that was a massive step up in my eyes compared to Final Fantasy VII. The character models always stood out for me. You had the original blocky polygon characters of Final Fantasy VII against a more realistic character model of the likes of Squall versus Cloud. You could see the differences. The backdrops of the world, the likes of Balam Garden, Delling City, etc. Even the amazing, and everyone's got to agree with me here, the introduction when that Liberate Falte, I think that's how you pronounce the name of the song, that introduction where Cypher and Squall are fighting each other. And then you've got the likes of when you gain your airship, or likes of Balam Garden floating about the place. Everything about this game was just stunning to me. It was a step up, and it's a game which has always stuck with me for those reasons. I just couldn't believe. Back then, that was like playing a movie. It was that damn good. And, by today's standards, that might not be the case. But honestly, back then, that just absolutely stunned me. And it's for this reason, this Final Fantasy VIII is my second favourite Final Fantasy game of all time. Obviously, it will be behind Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, this is a game which absolutely stunned me and will always do that. Now we're going to move on to the final title. Now, a lot of people might raise an eyebrow to this, but this game stunned me from the outset. It's Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Now, this was developed by Level 5, published by Bandai Namco, and it's released on the likes of PC, Nintendo Switch, and PS4. Now, in this title, we follow a young king known as Evan, who has been betrayed by fellow members of his court, and it's up to him and Roland to build a new kingdom. It has the likes of kingdom building elements or base building elements, which I absolutely love. You'll be going from town to town, and you'll also be fighting in action-based combat as well. Now, this one is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous? What's gorgeous? Gorgeous. Now, with this as well, I've got to say that, it kept that Studio Ghibli style. Now, I know that Ni no Kuni 2, the likes of the development team came away from Studio Ghibli, because I know that Studio Ghibli helped with the development of, or like the design of the first title. But this is the first Ni no Kuni game that I fully played, and this is one that has stuck with me. I love this title. Now, I know that I've not fully replayed this one, but it is one that stuck with me. I even own a Roland hoodie, so it's like his jacket that he wears, it's that design. That's how much I love the game. I just think it's so cool. Now, this is another one which I feel will stand the test of time again with its visual choices, well, its graphical design, because it's got that cel-shaded graphics. It's got that Studio Ghibli-esque anime style, which, again, that choice will always last the course of time. It's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't played Ni no Kuni 2, there is a lot of games here. And it's one that I don't see a lot of praise towards. So here I am praising it for you. So, with everything said and done, those are 9 JRPGs that absolutely stunned me. Now, of course, there'll be some JRPGs I've missed out. Let me know the games which stunned you completely. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, please help me grow it by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, you know what to do. Hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tate bye.